Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today we're digging into some really powerful wisdom literature. We've got two stories here. They seem simple on the surface, but actually,
When you put them together, they offer this surprisingly complete strategy. It's about navigating, persistence, but also failure.
right. So our mission really is to get past the usual motivational stuff. We want to find the practical lessons, the sort of operating manual, if you will.
Exactly. For two really core human experiences.
Well-
First, how do you keep putting in massive effort when you're seeing like zero results, no validation?
And then the flip side, how do you deal with messing up? The self-inflicted stuff, the regrets, without letting it completely derail you.
Yeah, because that happens. So we've got this story about a young runner, Rohan, and that classic bamboo analogy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're pairing that with a really profound conversation between a man just burdened by guilt and a wise mom.
And we're not just telling the stories, are we? We're trying to figure out how they connect, how they create a kind of roadmap for you listening right now.
It's about putting consistency together with compassion. You need the consistency to grow, definitely.
But you need the compassion so you don't just quit when it gets messy.
Precisely. Because growth is often messy.
Okay, so let's start with that first challenge then. Consistency. How do you keep going? Let's unpack Rohan's story. He's 16 years old, small village.
Right, and he's got this huge dream, become a great runner, get into the district sports academy. It wasn't just for him, though.
No, it was about helping his family, making his dad proud. There was a lot riding on it.
A massive weight for a kid. And the thing is, he did everything you're supposed to do. He showed up every single morning before dawn, out there running, training, total commitment.
But here's the kicker, the really tough part. For 2 solid years, he enters every local race he can.
Every single one.
And every single time, second or third place, never first.
Just imagine that, 2 years, pouring everything in, getting fitter, faster maybe, but never getting that one result he wanted.
And then you add the noise from outside, right? People saying,
Oh, yeah. Maybe running's not for you, Rohan. You're just wasting your time, that kind of stuff. And the point, that's where so many people stop. They see the lack of the final result, the win, and they think none of the effort mattered. No progress was made at all.
And it almost broke him. The story describes this real low point. It's raining. He's on this muddy trail.
Yeah, he slips, falls hard, and he just stays there, covered in mud, hurt, but more than that, just despairing.
He looked back at those 2 years and thought, they're right. I'm just not good enough.
And that is such a universal psychological trap, isn't it? We mistake the invisible work, the foundation building, for just standing still, inertia.
We give up right before the breakthrough.
So often, yeah. Just before that foundation is ready to actually support something big.
But then the story turns. Right there in the mud, this old farmer walking his cows comes by.
And he doesn't offer pity, which is interesting. He offers perspective. He uses that famous bamboo analogy.
Ah, the bamboo seed. Right.
Yeah. He says, look, you plant a bamboo seed, you water it, you take care of it for 5 years.
5 years.
5 years. And in all that time, you see absolutely nothing above the ground. Nothing.
That seems almost impossible today, doesn't it? With everything demanding instant results.
Yeah.
5 years of watering dirt, basically.
You'd assume the seed was dead, right? You could have grown 50 other things in that time.
Easily.
But here's the farmer's insight, the powerful part. He tells Rohan the growth wasn't delayed. It was just happening somewhere else, underground.
Beneath the surface.
Exactly. For 5 whole years, that plant was building this incredibly deep, strong, complex root system, the foundation it needed for what was coming.
And what came next was dramatic.
Spectacular. Once those roots were ready, the bamboo just shoots up, 80 feet tall in at 6 weeks.
Wow.
So the farmer looks at Rohan, defeated in the mud, and says that crucial line, son, you're growing your roots. Don't stop now.
That must have hit him hard.
It changed everything for Rohan. His whole motivation shifted. He stopped worrying about winning the race, beating others.
And started focusing on
the process itself. Perfecting his form, his breathing, his climbing. Strengthening his own internal structure, those roots. He wasn't trying to prove others wrong anymore.
He was trying to prove himself right.
Exactly. Running for himself, essentially.
And the result?
Well, 1 year later, district interschool race. He stays steady, focused, keeps his rhythm.
He wins.
First place. Gets selected for the academy. But, the real power isn't just the win. It's what the farmer says later.
Oh, what was that?
Years later, Rohan finds him, thanks him for the advice. And the farmer says something like, well, I'm glad the words helped, but honestly, you were the one who chose not to quit. The strength was always within you. The result, the win, it was just the visible proof of the roots he'd spent years growing, unseen.
Wow. A huge lesson in patience and trusting the process, even when there's no external validation.
Absolutely. Delayed gratification in its purest form.
But, okay, here's the problem, right? You can build the strongest roots in the world. But what if you sabotage yourself? What if regret or past mistakes just make you freeze?
That consistency is kind of useless then, isn't it? If you let the pain of past failures stop you from moving forward.
Exactly. Which brings us perfectly to the second story. We're shifting from that relentless persistence
to the psychological freedom you need to actually stay on that path. And this involves dealing with the heavy stuff. This is the story of a man carrying this immense burden of regret.
Yeah, the source is a heavy heart. He was just tormented by things he'd done, things he'd said in anger, hurting people.
And here's the key part. Other people had apparently forgiven him, but he couldn't forgive himself.
That internal judge can be the harshest, can't it?
Absolutely. And that self-punishment was crippling him. He couldn't move forward.
So desperate, he goes to find this wise monk up in the mountains, asks him straight up, how do I let this go? These mistakes, they haunt me.
And the monk gives him this. Well, it's a pretty radical strategy for dealing with regret. He talks about turning garbage into a flower.
Garbage into a flower. Okay, unpack that.
So think of your mistakes, your regrets, that guilt as emotional garbage, waste material.
Okay, feels right. Heavy, messy.
Right. But the monk says that garbage isn't something to just get rid of. It's actually the raw material you need. It's compost.
Compost for growth.
Precisely. He says if you can take the pain, the memory, the lesson from that mistake, and use it as fuel to grow, to learn, to become, well, better, essentially.
And you've already created the flower.
You've transformed the waste. And that flower, that learning, that growth, it isn't just for you. The monk says it's a gift. For your own joy, sure, but also for the future, maybe even for the people you hurt. That transformation is the apology, in a way.
That's a powerful reframe, but the monk goes even deeper, doesn't he? He redefines why we make mistakes in the first place.
Yes. And this, I think, is revolutionary. It lowers the stakes massively. He says people mess up not because they're fundamentally bad or evil.
Which is often how we feel, right? I did a bad thing, therefore I am bad.
Exactly. But the monk says no. People make mistakes because they are unskillful.
Unskillful, not bad.
Right. It completely removes the moral judgment. Unskillful just means you lacked the awareness or the knowledge or maybe the emotional regulation, the skill, basically, to act differently in that specific moment.
So it's not a character flaw, it's like a knowledge gap. Or a skill deficit.
Yeah, exactly. A correctable one. And think about how that shifts everything.
It really does. You stop asking, am I good or evil?
And instead you ask, okay, was that action skillful or was it unskillful?
And if it was unskillful,
then the path forward is clear. Learn to be more skillful. Practice. Gain the awareness, the understanding, which naturally stops you from causing that same kind of suffering again to yourself or others. It's incredibly empowering, actually.
Okay, but then the practical question comes up. The man asks the monk, so if I learn from it, should I just forget the mistake, try to block it out so it stops hurting?
And the monk is very clear. No, don't try to forget it. You need to use it. Leverage it.
Oh.
By taking full responsibility, being honest about the impact the pain caused. But crucially, without letting that turn into endless self-punishment.
The learning itself is the release.
That's the idea. The transformation that comes from really integrating the lesson is what frees you, not forgetting the event.
And what if part of that learning involves talking to someone you hurt?
Well, the monk stresses that that requires immense skill, too. He calls it an art.
An art?
Yeah. Approaching someone with kindness, with genuine compassion, making sure your attempt to take responsibility doesn't accidentally create more pain or defensiveness. It has to be done skillfully.
That makes sense. It's not just about your relief, it's about skillful interaction.
Exactly. So the man in the story, he starts practicing this. Mindfulness, learning from the past instead of just replaying it with guilt.
And slowly.
Slowly, he starts turning that garbage of his past regrets into, well, the garden of his future, as the source puts it. The mistakes didn't disappear, but they stopped being anchors. They became fertilizer.
So when you put these two stories side by side, Rohan and the man with the monk,
you see, they cover two essential parts of any long-term effort, any meaningful journey.
Rohan shows us the power of that patient, consistent, often invisible work, laying the foundation, growing the roots, even when no one sees it and you get no applause.
Right. the sheer grit required.
But then the monk shows us what to do when we inevitably stumble, when we fall in the mud, whether it's a missed race or a personal failing.
You don't just stay there wallowing. You don't let the garbage define you. You skillfully learn from it. You use it. You turn it into a flower.
So real endurance, lasting success, it needs both, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It needs the patient effort, like Rohan, pushing through when the finish line isn't visible.
And it needs the skillful compassion, like the man learning from the monk, to not let moments of unskillfulness derail the whole journey.
You need both the roots and the ability to compost the failures along the way.
So for you listening, maybe you're in that phase of growing roots right now, putting in the work on something, a project, a skill, a relationship, and just not seeing the visible results yet.
Or maybe you're looking back at a mistake, feeling that weight, wondering how to move forward without carrying that garbage forever.
The message here is that both states are actually states of growth. Whether you're building foundations or learning skillfully from a setback, you're preparing.
Rohan eventually discovered that strength was inside him all along, just waiting for consistency to reveal it.
And the monk taught that every mistake, every bit of garbage, is actually a chance to wake up, to learn, to grow more skillful.
So if that strength is already within you, just like it was for Rohan, and if every mistake is a chance to grow.
We'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. What's one consistent, skillful action you can commit to starting today? An action that will begin to reveal the strength you've actually been growing, perhaps unseen beneath the surface all this time.